everybody. It's me again. I miss you guys. So today we are back again. I know that I've been doing a lot of videos, but this is my way to stay connected to you. Also, a way to fill my time. So today we're going to do a little bit of a more gentle flow, and then add a little bit of restorative at the end. Restorative happens to be my favorite ever. Some of the women who come here like to call it dessert, and it is exactly that. And so I know that it seems a little counterintuitive to practice being still and restorative when we've probably been sitting still at our houses. But just because your body is still, sometimes it's really hard to get your mind to kind of stop. So the whole point of restorative is that you can still your body, you can still your mind. So we're going to do a little bit of that, and that relaxation hopefully will help you feel more rested, more rejuvenated, kind of restore your energy a little bit more. And it's also just something nice that you can probably do right before you go to bed tonight, or even when you wake up in the morning, or right before your afternoon nap. Or all our schedules are weird, so who knows what we're all doing at what time. What time is it now? 5:30, so maybe you can do this after dinner or something. And so I know that it's been difficult to kind of stop your mind, because every time you turn on the TV or you check your social media, you're just kind of flooded by things. And at this point, I've checked my symptoms a bunch of times, because every time I clear my throat, I'm like, oh gosh, so, and not to make light of the situation at all, but honestly, I have a lot of tabs open on my phone that are embarrassing right now. And one of them being, what are the symptoms and why does my throat feel itchy? But I just get dry throat sometimes. So anyway, having said that, sorry, that was too much. Having said that, let's get started. And so the things that we'll do here today, you can definitely do at home, just at the wall. Normally restorative, we use a ton of props, but because some of you probably don't have that at home, we'll just do kind of basic stuff that you can do at any wall space that you may have. So this can be maybe just a place in your bedroom. I actually even do a lot of these positions in my bed. My bed is up against the wall in my bedroom, so it's easy to just kind of throw your legs up the wall and do some of the poses there. So this is a great thing to also do in your bed to kind of wind down before bedtime. So we are going to go ahead and get started with just some gentle movement. So again, just like yesterday, we're going to start seated. There it is again. We're going to start seated, and we're just going to move a little bit here. And so with your hands on your knees, we're just going to do seated cat-cows. And so you can make these as big or as small as you want them to be. I feel the bigger, the more dramatic they are, the better they feel to me, but it's up to you, obviously. So with hands on knees, rolling the shoulders down the back. First, starting by taking a couple of deep breaths here. Maybe exhaling through the mouth. And again, deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. And with your hands on your knees, inhale, pull the chest forward, elbows back. Exhale, round out, lean back. So seated cat-cow, inhale, pull forward. Exhale, round it out. Inhale, pull forward, puff your chest forward. Exhale, round it out, chin to chest. And then coming back to neutral, we'll do little side body openers. So from here, I'm going to take my left hand, walk it out. Bing, 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 bing. Take the right arm and reach up and over the ear, palm down. And so I can reach as much or as little as I like. I like to reach up and over instead of down and over, so that you don't feel this kind of compression on the other side, right? You want to think about length on both sides, looking forward, maybe looking up if that feels good. You can even pop down onto the forearm if that feels good to you. You just don't want your butt to kind of start to lift up. Then inhale back to center, right hand comes down. As you exhale, walk it out, ping, 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 ping. Inhale, left arm reaches up and over, palm down. So I'm kind of thinking about, ooh, that's kind of cool, the reflection. All right, breathing, focusing. And again, you can look forward or you can look up. And then inhale back to center, good. And then so from here, we'll just do a little neck roll. And so you can kind of rest your hands on your knees, lengthen the spine, Breathe in, and then with the exhale, right ear, right shoulder. And you kind of want to think about keeping your spine nice and stable so you're not leaning. And then inhale here, back to center. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Ooh. And inhale, back to center. Exhale, chin to chest. And I like to take my hands here, interlace my fingers, kind of make a little headrest. And then from here, think about wrapping your elbows around your head with your chin to your chest. Just the weight can add a little bit of traction if it feels good. Or I like to think about pulling forward and down. And the image I use is like you're going to try to pull your head off. That's a little dramatic right now, but that's kind of the idea. And again, only if it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. And then inhaling back up, hands release with the exhale. From here, we're going to go ahead and move to hands and knees. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of transition to hands and knees. And so we'll do cat-cow here, regular way, and then also kind of side to side because it's kind of fun and different. So with the inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round the spine, curl in, chin to chest, maybe rock forward. Sometimes that feels good. Inhale, drop to cow. Exhale, round out, curl in. Inhale, drop to cow. Exhale, round it out. And then come back to neutral. We'll go side to side like a little dog. So breathe in, and then with the exhale, bring your hips to the left and look to the left. So you kind of crunch that side. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, hips right, look right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left, like a happy little dog wagging its tail. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. And then inhale back to center, pause. And so from here, we're going to move into kind of more dynamic cat-cows. And so this is kind of a combination of cat-cow and child's pose. So I'm going to go ahead and take the knees a little bit wider. Big toes kind of tap together. So with the inhale, I'm going to come forward to cow. So drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone. With the exhale, round out, curl in, and then sit back. Inhale, come forward, little cow. Exhale, round out, sit back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, round out. And taking one more here, inhale, forward, maybe even rock forward more if it feels good. Exhale, round out, sit back. And then coming back to neutral. And then we'll go ahead and make our way through to seated so we can come into our restorative poses because those are the best. So for restorative, I'm going to show you the things I'm going to use. These are things that you may have at home, you may not have at home, but we will find a creative way to make up for it. So I have with me 2 blankets. Your blankets at home are perfectly fine. You don't have to have yoga blankets, any kind of blanket you have at home, but I have 2 here. And then I also have a sandbag. Sandbag just helps add weight to you. Sometimes it feels really grounding. If you don't have a sandbag, just guess what's in here. It's rice. It's not actually sand. So if you have a bag of rice at home, maybe a 5-pound bag or a 10-pound bag or flour or sugar, grab that. That might be helpful to you. Then I also have a little eye pillow here. I feel like I'm on a cooking show. I've been watching a lot of cooking shows actually. Side note. This is your little eye pillow. A lot of us don't have this at home, but you may have one of those little masks that you put on to go to sleep to kind of block out light. You can use that here. Or take a hand towel from your bathroom, roll it up, and let it rest over your eyes, and that works too. So any of those things, and that's only if you want them, you don't have to have it. I'm a big fan of like setting up my relaxation station. So dim lighting, which I would do in here, but you need to be able to see me. And I don't know if you can hear it, I have a little sound machine going with ocean waves because I find that to be relaxing. You can use a playlist. YouTube has some really good ones of just ocean waves if you want to. If you have an Alexa thing, she'll do it for you. You can also just use any like playlist. Oftentimes during restorative, I play like a piano playlist. If you have Spotify, it's called Piano Massage, and I just shuffle that and play it, and it's super relaxing. I also have this little aromatherapy spray. I'm a big fan aromatherapy and just like little smells. And so this one is lavender, so you can use that at home. Once the studio opens again, I have these here if you ever want one. I just bought a bunch and they came in. So this is lavender, so I can spritz myself and make myself feel like I'm at the spa, even though we're not. All right, so we're gonna start in legs up the wall. A lot of these positions you are on your back, so if you tend to have maybe a hardwood floor at home, or maybe you don't have a mat, go ahead and take a blanket and spread it out to kind of cushion underneath you, and that will feel more comfortable. And so I'll just show you the poses kind of relatively quickly, just a couple of minutes in each pose. Realistically, when I do restorative, we stay in the positions maybe 8 to 10 minutes, so you can do that too, right? So we're gonna start in legs up the wall. So for legs up the wall, I'm gonna want both my blankets. The eye pillow I may use, but who knows, I may end up falling asleep on Facebook Live and then wake up an hour later, so maybe not. And the sandbag, I'll show you how to use that too. So to get into legs up the wall position, it is not super graceful, but it works. So you're gonna sit right up against the wall. So kind of bring one hip up to the wall. This is like kind of weird. Anyway, it's very like The Shining, the twins. Anyway, you're gonna go ahead and sit up against the wall and then relax back, swing your legs up, and then you kind of land in a nice little position here. Then the blanket, one of them is gonna go underneath my head and neck as a little pillow. You can use an actual pillow here if you want to. And then I'm also going to put a blanket behind my feet. This is optional. So before I do that, I want to make sure that everything feels comfortable, right? I need to wiggle in, make sure it feels good. I like my feet about the width of the hips. Sometimes being super close to the wall doesn't feel good on your hamstrings, and you'll know because your knees will want to bend, right? And so if I'm like perfectly pressed up against the wall, I can't really relax. My knees want to bend because I have tighter hamstrings. So what I like to do, and if this feels good to you, stay here. But I like to walk away a little bit. You have to do this awkward little caterpillar walk. So that my legs kind of drop a little, and then it feels a bit better. Also, don't worry about these mirrors. We put weight on them all the time. So then from here, I can stay, or I like to add, I'm gonna add the teetsiest bit of weight with this blanket, and the blanket also helps keep my feet in place. So normally I come around and do this for you, but you're just gonna watch me struggle over here by myself. So I'm gonna put it over my little feetsies, and then it's just gonna drape, and that way my feet will stay, right? A lot of times people like the sandbag on their feet. You can take that option. Take the bag of rice, the bag of flour, put it on top of your feet. Or, my personal favorite, take the sandbag, put it over your pelvis, so kind of your lower abdomen, let it rest there, and that will really help you focus on your breathing. So you can take this option. And then from here, we're just gonna chill for a little bit. So arms can rest wherever you like them. Some people like hands on the abdomen, kind of elbows down. Some people like arms down. Arms out. I like arms up. And then you just close your eyes here. Take a couple of deep breaths. And remember that it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to feel good to you. And so just making sure that it feels good. Like I said before, if maybe your floor at home is kind of hard, or maybe you don't have a mat or anything like that, take a blanket, put it underneath your hips, and that will help. If you're doing this in your bed at home, it's actually amazing. And this position is super cooling, calming, and relaxing. It's a nice little inversion. If you have been on your feet a lot or anything like that, this is a great one to do. If I've been on my feet all day, after work or whatever, I like to throw my legs up, and that fatigue kind of drains, and it's really nice. So I'm going to stop talking so that if you are doing this at home, you can take a couple of breaths. And just for now, just for funsies, we're just going to be here a couple of minutes. And so breathing here. And I like to focus on breathing into the lowest part of my lungs, so the abdomen inflates, and I'm going to focus on the movement of the sandbag. So instead of focusing on everything else that's going on, right, all this information that's just kind of flooding our senses right now, instead of focusing on that, I'm just going to focus on one thing, and that one thing is my breath, and I'm manifesting that with focusing on the sandbag, right? So we're breathing here. And if you tend to get kind of distracted, sometimes it's easy to start thinking about other things. You forget your breath. I like to count my breath. So I'll think, inhale 1, exhale 1, inhale 2, exhale 2. And maybe I'll tell myself, okay, I'll stay in this position for 10 breaths or 20 breaths or whatever, right? So let's take about 5 more breaths here. And then I'm going to take 1 more big breath in. Slow exhale. And then from here, I'm going to remove the sandbag. And the next position we're going to do is a little hip opener. So you can leave the blanket there because it kind of helps cushion your little piggies. But underneath the blanket, I'm bringing the soles of my feet together, right? So I'm going to bring my little feet together. And I'm going to open my knees and let my heels slide down. So this is Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose. And so you just literally have soles of your feet together, knees open up. The blanket adds as a little cushion, plus it's kind of comforting to have the blanket there too. So your feet don't have to come down super far. Just kind of let gravity do its thing. And then in this position, if you kind of feel your lower back lifting lifting up off the mat, that's an indication that you need to wiggle away from the wall a little bit. And once you wiggle away, your lower back can relax and kind of flatten out. In this position, again, if you start to feel too much in the hips because it is a hip opener, you can always bring your knees in for a second or extend them back up and then go back into it, or skip the position completely, right? Some people like to take their hands onto their knees or their legs just to add a little bit of traction. I personally think, this is going to sound terrible, I personally don't like that. I feel like it's too much work for me to do that in restorative, because in restorative I literally don't want to do anything. I just want to let my body rest in the position, let my body take the shape of the position without having to force or push or pull, right? That's kind of the purpose. And so here you can add the sandbag or the bag of rice or lentils or whatever you've got at home and put that on your abdomen if you like to. You certainly don't have to. I like it, so I'm going to put it there. I see people commenting or writing, and I'm too far away to read, but I see you. Hi. So then from here, keep the shoulders relaxed, arms rest wherever they like them. I'm a big fan of putting my arms up overhead, and so you can take that option. Remember, if you've got your little sandbag, use it over your eyes, right? Or your little eye pillow, I mean. These are great. I actually got these off Amazon. You can get them scented or not scented. These are not scented in case people are sensitive to that. So you can put that over your eyes. Ooh, that feels so good. They even have the kinds that you can put in the microwave or put in the freezer, and those are kind of life-changing too. This one feels really nice. I also meant to tell you that actually a really nice relaxing thing to do is to put the heels of your palms over your eyes, let your fingers kind of wrap over the top of your head, and that will help too. That's also a nice relaxing thing, especially if you get headaches a lot. It's a nice relaxing one. So we're going to breathe here for about a minute or so, or 2 minutes. And again, just tell yourself, I'm going to stay here for 15 breaths, right? And count those breaths. We're going to take about 5 more breaths. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. I'm still listening. All right. So then to come out of this, if you got your sandbag or whatever you've got, we're going to take it off, move it to the side.
We're gonna stretch our legs back up. And then from here, I'm gonna actually move the blanket. I'm gonna move the blanket, and we can use it again later, but I'm gonna move the blanket so that from here, your heels are on the wall, and you can just do little windshield wipers side to side with your feet, and that feels really good in your hips and lower back, right? And you can even take your feet a little wider and do windshield wipers if that feels good. And then from here, we're gonna move into another hip opener. This is gonna be a reclined pigeon at the wall. You can tell I like to do hip openers, I teach them a lot. So to do this position, I like to move away a little bit more. So I'm gonna move my little blanket back, I'm gonna wiggle my buns back. All right, so to do a reclined pigeon at the wall, you're gonna start with your legs extended, right? And then from here, I'm going to bend let's do this. I'm gonna take the outside of my right ankle on top of my left thigh. So you want it on top of your thigh, not your knee. And so this may be this kind of figure 4 position. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? May be enough for you. Some people just kind of like to hang out here, and that's fine. I personally like to bend my left knee, place the sole of the left foot on the wall. And so now I'm giving myself a little bit more traction, right? And so from here, you can just kind of hang out and take little baby steps. And I know that so often we're used to wanting to feel the most intense, the fastest, all that. But instead, maybe try to find just the teensiest edge of sensation. Breathe there, let that sensation dissipate, and then go deeper. If you just kind of force into the deepest position, I think you miss a lot of that sensation and a lot of the release of the tension. And for me, it's nice to feel, I feel a pretty nice stretch there. So I'm gonna wait and breathe. And then when I feel like, that stretching sensation has kind of gone away or it's lessened, then I can go a little deeper, right? So you kind of investigate, you get a little curious about your body. And so you can bring this foot down a bit more. I wouldn't recommend going lower than your knee, kind of in line with the knee is where I would stop. And then from here, again, your right hand can kind of press onto that knee or the leg. Again, too much work for me, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm just gonna hang out here and breathe. This is a great hip stretch. We do it often in class, but at the wall is super nice. I don't have to do anything. I could literally close my eyes and fall asleep here. So we're just gonna breathe. And then we'll take the other side after a couple of breaths, and it's really normal if one side feels really accessible and maybe the other side feels kind of like, a little Tin Man-ish, that's okay. My hips feel pretty tight. I've been doing, since we can't, go out and do things, I've been going on walks a lot lately, and I enjoy walking quite a bit, but it's just front to back movement with hips. So doing hip opening feels really good right now. So one more breath here. Exhale. You can also do this without the wall, by the way. So if you're laying in your bed, you can take this exact position and just pull in, make a little hammock behind this leg and hold. And I like to kind of rock side to side here. That actually feels really good right now. So you don't have to have the wall to do this position. You just don't want to feel like you're having to do a crunch because nobody likes to do that. So then we're going to release and extend, right? And so to come out of it really easily, so say I'm here, sometimes I feel kind of stuck, so I'm just going to extend that bottom leg, then I can release the top leg. And then again, I'm going to do my little windshield wipers. Then we'll take the other side. So this leg is going to stay straight, this knee's going to bend. I'm going to place my ankle over my thigh, and then I can hang out here. Maybe this hip feels a little tighter and I just want to hang out, and that's cool. If I want a little more, right, if I'm not really feeling any sensation, I can bend, place my foot, and then the further I bring the foot down, the more I'm going to feel, because you can see my shin is kind of pressing closer to my chest here, right? So then just breathe and see how it feels. And a good indication of your positioning and whether it feels right or not is, can you breathe in it? Can you take a full deep breath, or do you feel like you're having to grip and hold? Right? We don't want that. We don't want this face happening in our practice. Right? So breathing here. By the way, I hope you guys are enjoying these because I literally look forward to coming to the studio to film these because it's kind of fun for me. And it's a way for me to feel like I'm still seeing you guys. Also, just so you know, I'm talking a lot, I'm sorry. You can kind of rock side to side here if it feels good, kind of wiggle around some, whatever feels good. And remember, this video is just to show you the positions, right? You can then later kind of take the ones that you like and take those and practice them, okay? So we're gonna take another deep breath and release. And then I'm gonna extend the leg, release, and do my little windshield wipers. Bink, 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 bink. And then, now we're gonna move into the last hip opener, and this will be our last position because I've been talking a lot and probably oversharing in this video. So the next one is our straddle position. And so you can stay further away from the wall, right? Because we're gonna end up opening up. I like to move in a little bit, right? So you have to do this awkward little crawl. Okay. So then from here, what all you're gonna do is take your legs and like a little V, open them up. Oof. Okay, so you're gonna breathe here. And so, like right now, I'm gonna tell you and be honest, I'm feeling a lot of sensation here. So sometimes, because gravity kind of does its thing and helps to open your legs, if you're feeling too much, you can always prop underneath your legs. So maybe grab one of your pillows from your bed, fold it up, shove it under, and then the other pillow on the other side to kind of help support so you don't overstretch. This is also a good place to use a strap, or even if you don't have a strap at home, maybe a belt or a scarf, any of those things. Hook them around your feet so you can keep, let's say I just want my feet to open up this much, I can hold it there and I won't keep stretching, right? So whatever feels good. And this is a position that I can be in for a long time. I think it feels really good. You get a pretty dynamic stretch here in terms of the many places that you feel it. So you can breathe here, and again, you can use your little sandbag or your rice or lentils, whatever you've got, and place it over your abdomen here if it feels good, and just kind of breathe. And again, arms can rest wherever you like them, but taking nice, full, deep breaths. And again, all things that you could probably do in your bed if your bed is pushed up against a wall or if your bed has a pretty sturdy headboard, go for it, do it. Take another very deep breath. And exhale completely. And then from here, I'm going to remove my sandbag. And I don't like to come out too quickly because it's very common to feel more sensation as you come out. So I take my hands and I use them to help me really slowly come back in. And then I can just pause here. I can bend my knees and just do a little windshield wiper. I can pull my knees all the way in if it feels good. This does feel good, so I'm going to do this. And then I'm just going to gently roll to my side, and I'm going to roll over here. And with the next breath, I'm going to come up to seated, so that I can say goodbye to you guys. I know this one was a little bit shorter, but hopefully tomorrow we'll get a little bit of a longer one. I'll see if I can do maybe a full flow with you guys. And then
I'll think about this later and not word vomit all over you guys right now. So thank you for joining me. It was super, I was gonna say it was so nice to see you, but I can't actually see you. It's been a long day, I guess. I don't know why I'm talking a whole lot right now. I'm so sorry. But thank you so much for checking in and checking our social media and checking our website and doing all those things. I really do appreciate it. I know that we are all still together and that we're still connected and that we are still sharing our practice, whether our practice is physical or not. We are still practicing our yoga every day and reminding ourselves that it is not just a physical practice, right? It can be, but it can be restorative. It can be our words, our actions, our thoughts. And among all of those things right now, it is so important to really, and I say it because I know I need to hear it, really practice some self-care and to really pay attention to when we're feeling fatigued or exhausted or frustrated or angry or sad, and acknowledging those feelings so that we can either release them if they need to be released, or notice, hey, you know what, that's my red flag. That's my body telling me, hey, you need to relax, you need to wind down, you need to put your phone away and stop checking KFDM, because that's all I've been doing, all those things, right? So kind of paying attention, because even though it feels like, oh, I didn't do anything today, I just sat on the couch and watched 8 hours of Great British Baking Show, guilty, your brain is still processing and thinking and doing, and even if you're just binge watching a show, your brain is still working. So taking some time to kind of turn your brain off. I like to imagine my brain as a pause button, and when I practice, when I get on my mat, I push the pause button, right? Anything that needs to be thought can be thought about later, but right now it's time for me. So now that I've talked too much, we'll close together. So when you're ready, taking the hands together at the hearts, deep breath in through the nose. Full exhale. And closing our practice, reminding ourselves to be grateful for our bodies and our minds, and to acknowledge that gratitude in our thoughts, words, and actions. Paying attention to the way that we speak to each other, and especially the way that we speak to ourselves. And making it part of our practice each and every day to take breaks, to take rest, to find balance, to understand that it is important to listen as much as we speak, to rest as much as we work, to practice stillness as much as we move, and to be able to receive as much as we give. And so we close our practice saying together into each other, the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining, guys. I will see you again tomorrow. I'm thinking probably tomorrow early afternoon I'll come back to the studio and do a couple more things with you guys. And I will also include some breath work. Actually, I'll go ahead and just quickly show this to you now, because what else do I have to do? I know that when I feel really anxious, there's a breath, a pranayama, like a breath work that I like to do a lot, and it's called beak breath, like a little bird beak. I think I also just like the name of it too. And so the practice is that you can take your dominant hand, whatever it is, I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna take my right hand, place it on my cheek, right? Almost like I'm posing for a glamour shot. And then the other hand is gonna go in front of my face, and I'm gonna let the fingertips curl in, right? It doesn't have to be super rigid. And I'm gonna inhale through my nose, exhale through the mouth, and I wanna focus on feeling the breath in the palm of my hand, almost imagining that my breath hits the palm of my hand, curls around my fingers, and then is circulated back to me, right? So I'll just show you a couple of rounds of that, and you can try it at home. You look kind of silly doing it, but who cares? So whatever hand you want on your face, other hand in front of your face, so I'll turn so you can see me. Oh, my hair is really looking good right now, sorry. So we're here, I'm gonna take a deep breath in. Exhale like I'm blowing out a candle. Deep breath in. Blow out the candle. And then as I'm doing this, I'm imagining full inhale. And as I exhale, the breath hits my hand, curls around my fingers, comes back in, right? Deep breath in. Full exhale. So maybe when you're feeling a little anxious or overwhelmed, try that. Beak breath is what it's called. It's awesome. I love it. It's a great one. Maybe even try it before you go to bed tonight. Try it out and then lay back down. Anyway, so I'm going to try to turn this video off without looking so, oh gosh, now I'm just crawling at you. Okay. Bye guys.